Welcome back, viewers. You're watching The Savera and I'm Shefali. In yet another stark reminder of the fragile ecology of the Himalayan foothills, a massive landslide struck Haridwar's sacred Mansa Devi hill today, bringing the busy Dehradun-Haridwar railway route to a standstill and raising fresh alarm over recurring disasters in Uttarakhand's pilgrim heartland. How it happened? Eyewitnesses reported a defending roar shortly before noon as a large portion of the hillside near the Bhimgoda railway tunnel and the reversed Kali Mata Mandir gave way. Now, within seconds, tons of rocks, soils and boulders came crashing down, engulfing the railway track under heaps of debris. The protective iron safety nets installed at great cost earlier this year buckled under the sheer weight of the landslide, offering little resistance. Local residents described the scene as terrifying, with clouds of dust enveloping the temple road and nearby settlements. Pilgrims making their way to Mansa Devi shrine scrambled for safety as authorities rushed to cordon off the area. Trains services between Haridwar and Dehradun, a critical lifeline for pilgrims, tourists and locals, were immediately suspended. Several trains were stranded mid-route, forcing railway authorities to divert or cancel services. Passengers endured long delays as rescue and repair options or teams began working with evacuators and loaders to clear the tracks. Officials warned that restoration work may take several hours, possibly days, depending on the stability of the hill slope. It is not the first landslide in the area. Barely a month ago, on 5 August, a major landslide had blocked both the Haridwar-Pori Bhimgoda road and the adjoining railway track. CCTV footage from that incident showed boulders slamming into a passing motorcycle, narrowly escaping 3 men who escaped with minor injuries. Experts say that repeated incidents pointed to severe geological instability, worsened by relentless monsoon rains. Continuous downpour have saturated the soil, loosened the rocks and destabilizes natural slopes, making the Mansa Devi belt one of the most vulnerable zones in Haridwar. Uttarakhand has been reeling under the impact of heavy rains in the monsoon. Flash floods, overflowing rivers and recurring landslides have blighted the hill state, damaging roads, bridges and farmland. Now, talking about in several districts. In several districts, the National Highway Authority of India, NHAI and Border Roads Organization have been engaged in round-the-clock operations to reopen blocked routes. The situation has left thousands of pilgrims stranded, particularly in temple towns like Rishikesh, Haridwar, Kedarnath and Badrinath, raising safety concerns during the peak yatra season. Now, authorities have installed street nets, concrete barriers and slope guards earlier this year in the bid to prevent landslides in Haridwar's pilgrimage belt. But today's collapse has revealed the limitations of man-made intervention against nature's fury. Officials from the Disaster Management Department admitted that while these measures help against small rockfall, they are inadequate against large-scale hill collapses triggered by incessant rains. The Mansa Devi Hill area is not just a tourist hotspot but also a sacred zone attracting lakhs of devotees annually. The continued instability raising questions about the safety of pilgrimages, especially during the festivities when footfall surges. Locals, residents and shopkeepers voiced anger over what they described as piecemeal or solutions to a chronic problem. The government only puts nets and barriers, but no permanent slope stabilization is done, said a migrant resident of Bimgoda. Every monsoon we live in fear. Rescue teams from the State Disaster Response Force along with the railway engineers have been deployed to monitor the site and assess further risk. Authorities are also conducting slope stability checks across other vulnerable stretches in Haridwar and Dehradun to prevent more incidents. Officials captioned travelers and pilgrims against unnecessary movement in landslide-prone areas, urging patience as clearance and safety inspections continue. Environmentalists have repeatedly warned that unregulated urbanization, deforestation and the construction of roads and rail lines near sensitive hill slopes are amplifying the risk. The repetitive landslide in Haridwar highlights the urgent need for long-term ecological planning rather than short-term fixes. As Uttarakhand battles nature's fury, the landslide at Mansa Devi Hill stands at yet another grim reminder of how fragile the balance is between human infrastructure and the forces of Himalayas. That's all for now in this update. Stay tuned to the Savera. Download the app. Follow us on various social media platforms.